Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Veeam Data Cloud Vault, our secure, scalable, off-site storage solution provided directly by Veeam. Vault delivers zero trust storage that's always immutable, encrypted, and air-gapped away from production. It's fully managed by Veeam, so it takes away that configuration and integration hassle, and it also comes with per-terabyte pricing that's inclusive of additional charges like API calls, restore, or egress charges. For on-premise environments or private cloud environments, then Vault best serves as a secondary off-site storage location where your primary backup is served local, giving that fast backup and recovery. So for smaller environments such as remote branch offices or endpoint backups where you don't require that local fast backup and recovery, and perhaps you want to reduce your overall on-prem hardware costs, then you can always back up directly to Vault, providing that secure off-site backup. Today, Vault comes in two storage tier options. The first is Foundation, which is based on locally redundant storage, meaning you have 3 copies of that data in a single region or data center. But should you require increased resilience, then you can always look at our advanced option where we use zone redundant storage to ensure that we have 3 copies of that data stored across 3 separate availability zones. So let's jump to the demo and see how easy it is to get started with Veeam Data Cloud Vault. So here we are in the demo. During this demo, we're going to go through the deployment options. We're going to create our Vault, and we're going to connect that Vault to Veeam Backup Replication and send a backup copy of existing on-premises backups into our Vault for that off-site secure copy. In terms of deployment, you can deploy directly through the marketplace, or you can contact your preferred trusted reseller or reach out to your Veeam representative. And the pricing is based on either Foundation, as mentioned, 3 copies in a single region at $14 per terabyte per month, or Advanced at $24 per terabyte per month, based on 3 copies across 3 availability zones. So once you've signed up through the marketplace, through your reseller or through Veeam, you've got access to the portal, then you would come into this portal, this web-based portal, and you can define and create your vaults. You can also configure your company information, set up your users and so forth. So here we have 2 vaults pre-created. One is for our secondary off-site backups, and one is defined for our primary backups. So maybe those remote sites, maybe those endpoint devices, perhaps even your main data center should you have a bandwidth. But in our case, we're going to use this as an off-site location for our existing primary backups. To go through the process of creating a vault, it's simply go through the wizard, give the vault a name. Now this is just a logical name, can be anything you want it to be. Choose your edition, and in this lab we only have advanced rather than foundation, so this means we'll get 3 copies of the data across 3 availability zones. We have a 1-year subscription, and then we simply choose our country. So just to give you an example, if we were to choose the United States, then we currently have 4 storage locations, 4 regions where we can store that data. In our case, we're going to choose United Kingdom, and we currently have UK South. Right? So you simply choose your country and your storage location, click next, and then your credentials will be created and provided to you so you can log in. As we already have it created, if we just show you, you can always retrieve your key and copy your key. So this storage account name here, and the key is what you'd need to access. You can always, if you need to, regenerate your keys at any time from a security perspective. And also, should you need to, you can also lock down the network access. So mine is currently set to allow all incoming networks, but you can limit it to, from an access perspective, to a certain IP address or IP range. But I'm just going to leave mine open to all networks for this demonstration. So once you have your vault created, it's now simply a case of going to Veeam Backup and Replication and then connecting your Veeam Backup Replication instance to Vault. So you would simply go to Backup Repositories under Backup Infrastructure, go to Add your backup repository, choose Object Storage, choose Vault, and simply give it a name. So I'll keep the same format, Vault-UK South. And then what we would do is we would provide those credentials. So you'd simply add in your shared key credentials. We, in the future, will add entry ID as well. So you can simply paste in your account and share key credentials with a description of this account. I've already got this populated in our credentials manager, so I'll simply reselect that. and then I'll choose next to go forward and get access to our container. So here you can see we've got an immutable by default out of the box container. We then choose a folder to store the data. I already have one pre-created in there, so I'll simply select that. And then you can choose to limit the capacity should you wish, but you do, as it's immutable, have to set a minimum immutability period. Now, our recommendation here would just be to keep that immutability period lower than your retention so that your age data, when it expires, can be removed, and therefore you don't continue to store that data and increase your capacity. So just make sure that you have a defined retention period, whether that's short or long term, depending on your retention. In this case, I'm just going to keep it as 30 days. We then have the mount server for recovery and our NFS for instant recovery. We'll leave that default. And then we'll see that we have the components already on the server, and we'll now log in and create our vault. So once this is completed, we're essentially there. It's that easy to log into Vault. There's no other configuration required. It's all immutable, all encrypted, everything out of the box. So it really simplifies the process of being able to connect in and use that offsite storage. And that's it. So our Vault is now created. Now you have two options here when it comes to sending data offsite. In this case, because we're doing a secondary copy, you can either add this as a capacity tier within a scale-out backup repository, allowing you to copy and or move data as it ages over time, giving that automated tiering process. Or as I'm going to show you in the demo today, I'm simply going to do a traditional backup copy job from some existing data that I already have. So if I go to Home, go to the ribbon bar and create a backup copy, I'll give the job a name. I'll just leave it as default backup copy job 1. And you can choose immediate, maybe you're doing multiple backups a day, or you can do periodic should you want to schedule when the backup copy runs. I'll simply use immediate for this demo. And then you can choose either, do I want to include individual jobs, maybe not all data needs to be copied, or I can just simply copy everything from a primary repository. So everything that's stored on that repository will automatically get copied to the Cloud Vault. In this case, for the demo purposes, I'm going to choose a job, and this job has a single server in it. There's around about, after dedupe and compression, it's around about 10 gig. The full fat size of the machine is 22 gig. And what I'm going to do now is move forward and choose my Vault as my offsite location for this backup copy job. Now, a backup copy job can have a completely different retention to the source. So it might be that your primary is holding 14 days local retention, but I want 30 days offsite. So I'm going to select 30 days to match my immutability period. But perhaps I also, as part of this offsite, want to extend that retention and add GFS restore points, 4 weeklies, perhaps 12 monthlies, 1 yearly, for example. But keep in mind that although we do use block cloning and we only store unique blocks after the initial full's been sent, there is still going to be additional capacity required to store a year's worth of change. So just keep in mind what retention you're looking to set here. I'll cancel and not set any GFS retention on this job. I'm just simply going to hold 30 days offsite. Now, because Vault is also encrypted as well as immutable, I need to specify an encryption key. Now, I already have one in here that I'm going to reuse, but we also integrate with a KMS system, key management system, so it might be that a third-party secure system is creating your encryption keys for you. But we'll click OK, and we'll move forward. So we have immutability for 30 days. We have encryption enabled. Well, now, when do we want this job to run? I'll just leave it default, can run anytime. So a backup copy job is simply in a semi-running state looking for new backups, and when they appear, they'll be copied, especially in immediate mode. In periodic mode, you could set this at a time of your suiting. And I'll simply apply that and allow the job to run when finished. So this job is now created. It's going to sit there for a moment before it starts, and then once it starts, it's going to look and it will find the backup that already exists, and it will start that copy process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up when it starts, and then we will monitor the copy process, and then we'll come back at the end and you can see exactly what it looks like and what recovery options you have available. So we'll speed up and we'll come back in a moment. So there we go, that's our backup copy job complete. We've now sent our first backup offsite in a secure, zero trust, immutable and encrypted air-gapped vault. So if we were to take a look, we copied 10 gig and we sent that data out. We got a reasonable throughput speed. And as I mentioned before, with object storage, including Vault, we use metadata block cloning so that we only store unique blocks. So we're very efficient on sending data after that first fall, just sending that incremental change data. So very efficient in terms of not having to send full backups offsite all the time. And if we explore our backups and we look at the primary backup we just used for that, if we were to right click on the VM within that, we can see all the different recovery options we have. So instant recovery, restore virtual configuration files, guest file and application level recovery, as well as the ability to export or migrate to a cloud provider. If we now look at the object storage copy that is offsite, that's stored in the Vault, firstly, it's encrypted as we set that during the job. It's also immutable, so if I tried to delete that, I wouldn't be able to delete it for the 30 days that was set. It would simply just fail. And if I have additional settings for OS authentication, then I'd have to get secondary approval to try and delete anything anyway. And then if I right click on that machine, you can see exactly the same recovery option. So I can still instantly recover that back on-prem. I can still do all the file and guest recovery. It's effectively an offsite disk copy that's secure. It gives me all the same recovery options. And if for any reason I lost my primary site, I can always log in with the right credentials and import that data and perform my recoveries, even with free community edition of Veeam, should something have happened to my primary site and my primary server. So that's it. That's how simple it is, and that's how easy it is to get started with Veeam Data Cloud Vault. So that's it. Thanks for joining. I hope you found this video and demonstration useful. And if you want any more information, please look at our website or contact your Veeam representative for more information. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe or follow so you don't miss any future videos. And we hope you can join us for our next video, where we'll be looking at the Veeam Data Cloud and our backup for 365, and specifically how we integrate with Microsoft Backup Storage, providing that lightning fast backup and recovery. So thanks again, and we hope to see you on the next video.